Hello, hello, booktube, YouTube vinyl community people that are watching my book stuff, people from the Facebook Men's Adventure paperbacks of the 70s and 80s group, whoever you are. Eric, I am back to talk about books. That seems to be my thing lately. I do have some music stuff that it's right here, that I'm going to show that is in another video. Let me stop bumbling and get to it. Today, I was on my way back from the west side of the state of Michigan. So, putting on my coffee. Michigan looks like this. If you're from Michigan, you know exactly what I'm doing. I live over here, which is near Detroit, Ann Arbor. West side of the state's over here. And I was over there visiting family. Stopped in Lansing, which is right in the middle, state capital, actually East Lansing. Went to the salvage store for Michigan State University. If you don't know, most big universities have a surplus salvage store where they sell old desks and computers and all that kind of stuff. You ever want to buy like a little refrigerator for your cabin or something, check those places out. But I saw online earlier this week that they were having their second annual big book sale, and they advertised tens of thousands of books. And we were coming back from West Side State anyways, we being my sister and I. So I said to her, hey, we're going to go visit your friend and have lunch with her, so can we stop on the way back? And she said yes. So, without further ado, I bought books. Now, I wasn't there when the sale opened, so I'm sure I missed a whole bunch of stuff that people want and are collectible or are valuable. I'm not necessarily interested in that stuff. I'm looking for reader's copies. I'm looking for things that are interesting. I'm looking for authors that I know of but haven't really read. So, I got one hardcover and about 18 paperbacks. Hardcover was $2. Thought it was $1, but $2 is fine. I'm not going to complain because this looks like it has never even been opened. There's a little bit of wear at the top here, but other than that, this copy of Cornell Woolrich's Night and Fear. It's a compilation of his short stories. Woolrich was one of those guys that worked in Hollywood, and he wrote what would people consider noir stuff. Off top, I can't remember what his most famous thing is, but it's one of those deals. If you look him up, you'll especially know of the works based on his stories. All right. Picked up another Cornell Woolrich paperback. Paperbacks were 50 cents. This one, you know, the cover's all worn and whatnot, but I figured for 50 cents, that's a good score. Frank Bellop-Long, Survival World. Frank Bellop-Long was part of H.P. Lovecraft's group of writers, along with people like Robert Bloch. And I have not read any of his stuff in years and years and years, so I thought this looked kind of cool. I love the purple edging on it. You don't see that much. All right. This is one of the books that gets talked about in the men's paperback adventure group. I had all of these once upon a time. I think I sold them back during the Great Purge, and I picked this up. They are Hell for Leather Cowboys of the 1990s. I probably won't read this. I'll probably pass this along to somebody in that group. But, yeah, for 50 cents, and it looks like it's in good condition, I figured I'd pick that one up. All right, this one, what jumped out at me was this guy right there, Day Keene. He was another guy that wrote paperback noir and crime stuff back during the 50s and 60s. And this one is more of a science fiction book, but it's a gold medal. And I thought, this sounds kind of interesting. It's got kind of a cool back as well. It could happen tomorrow. So this is the world without women. This is a world where there's only men and very few women. On the other side of this was a blind buy. This was actually the first thing I picked up. This is The Girls from Planet 5. The women had taken over by 1998. The first female president was elected in 1988. 10 years later, the weaker sex dominated the government and ruled the country. So this is kind of the opposite of The World Without Women. Once again, purple edging. I thought that kind of looked cool, so I was holding on to that. There was a bunch of pulp stuff that I left there. People are going to cringe when I say I left Robert E. Howard and Howard-esque stuff. I left a bunch of Doc Savage because I have a bunch I have yet to read, but I've never read a G8 and his Aces, so I picked this one up. Not in the greatest condition, but once again, it's a reader's copy. 50 cents, can't go wrong, and I kind of love that cover, even though it's got some damage on it. This is one that the Men's Adventure group has posted before. You know, people don't have great things to say about it, but I like the cover, so for 50 cents, picked up TNT Spiral of Death. Those are great covers. I wish we had covers like this again. Today, this cover would be the author's name in huge letters, maybe some gaudy embossed, you know, minor clip art or something. But this is just kind of a very cool, simple cover. All right. This is a book that I probably have 4 or 5 copies of, but, you know, if you're going to find a nice copy of The Glass Key, and this was bagged already for 50 cents with that great cover. I think that might be Robert McGinnis. I don't know. You know, this is classic. This is Dashiell Hammett. So this goes in the collection of cool old stuff. I have a reader's copy somewhere else, but 50 cents once again. And there's the back. All right. Speaking of things I never thought I would buy, and I actually bought this because I just felt like it. This is a Mod Squad tie-in book. These things are short. Maybe, you know, these things are maybe I'll read them, maybe I won't. Never watched the Mod Squad, but I kind of dig the cover design, dig the logos. I like the idea of the Mod Squad, so I'll check it out. Speaking of tie-ins, I'm keeping this, by the way. Videodrome, you know, based on the screenplay by David Cronenberg, a modern classic of the cyberpunk variety. I think it's a cyberpunk film. So this is actually have a novelization of Existenz, which is his other movie that I would consider in the cyberpunk genre. But yeah, this looked cool, so pick that up. All right, this one was the author's name that caught my eye. And yes, I believe it is that Sam Fuller, the film director. I know he was a writer. This has a copyright date of 1944. And not finding many things that I was looking for. These things, it's a crapshoot, you never know. Figured, oh, Sam Fuller, I'll grab that. All right, another author whose books I've been looking for is Frederick Brown. This one's got a little divot in the cover and some of the pages, but this, once again, is a reader's copy. This is an anthology of his work. I've read a little bit of his work and enjoyed it, so I figured I'd pick this one up. And I dig that title. Okay. Borderlands. I had this book once upon a time, back in the 80s, and I saw it, and I thought, you know, I should go back and check it out. It is an anthology of writers telling stories about this mythical borderland between the Elflands and our world. And I do really love that cover. It evokes the 80s, once again, kind of post-apocalyptic, cyberpunk kind of image, which I dig, so figured I'd pick that up. All right. This is maybe the oddest thing I picked up. So this is the Dungeons & Dragons Endless Quest book number 7, Hero of Washington Square. So these were Choose Your Own Adventure books based on TSR properties. TSR was the company at the time. You can see their logo up there. That was the publisher of Dungeons & Dragons. I actually have 2 of these that are the sci-fi one, which that game name totally escapes my brain, and then a Dungeons & Dragons one that my father actually bought for my brother and I back in 82 or 81. So I saw this one and figured I'd grab it, especially because it's Top Secret, which was their James Bond spy game. And I had a copy of that. It's long gone. All right. This is another one that I believe has been talked about in the Men's Adventure paperback group on Facebook. The Baron, which is a series of, looks like kind of adventures, like maybe kind of adult kind of stuff for the 70s adult. I grabbed it. I thought it looked kind of cool, so why not? This was a total blind buy, and this was totally based on the cover. The Burning Moon, and it looks like it's a heist novel followed by a wilderness survival novel. So there's some quotes on the back, mostly from newspapers. I figured, that looks interesting. I'll give it a shot. All right, got that caught on something. I have earlier volumes of this, Weird Heroes, Volume 8. People writing about pulp and science fiction and comic heroes. And like I said, I have 1 or 2 volumes of this, so I saw this and snatched it up. And then finally, I find inevitably when I go to these sales and I'm looking for an author or a specific book, I find other books by the author, and I figure, why not? Let's give it a try. This is author that my friend Tim has been looking for books by, And I'm actually going to keep this one rather than give it to him because I want to read it. This is Michael McDowell's Jack and Susan in 1913. This sounds like it's about the beginning of the film industries. I understand there was a miniseries based on these books that was produced at some point. I might go and check that out. But this was maybe the score of the day. So that's it. If there's any of these books you guys have information, questions, comments about, please leave them below. If you like these videos, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.